Will the Philippines open up for tourism this March? That's the question that we will answer in this video. Hi friends, this is Jennifer Terri and welcome to my channel. I make travel updates, immigration rules updates in the Philippines. If that is something you want to follow, please consider subscribing to this channel. Alright, will the Philippines open up this March? So I've been getting messages from our subscribers saying, there's a rumor that the Philippines will open this March. Is this true? And there's also some people commenting in my last videos that mark this word, the Philippines will open in March. I'm like, whoa, well, is that true? Why are people saying this? It's because government organizations have been commenting about the reopening of the country. The Department of Tourism Secretary Puyat this Wednesday said that the Philippines is aiming to open to foreign tourists within this year, especially to those who have already been vaccinated. She hopes that foreign tourist arrivals will be allowed after the government allowed former Filipinos. Secretary Puyat cited that last December 7, when the former Filipinos, Balikbayans, were allowed visa-free again, that move of reinstating the Balikbayan program boosted the economy, boosted the tourism industry, since Balikbayans are the third tourist source market in the country. The adverse effect of the pandemic was felt so strongly by the tourism sector in the Philippines. In fact, based on the government records, the Philippines lost about 400 billion pesos in income last year due to the decrease in the number of foreign tourists visiting the country. The decrease in the foreign tourist arrivals has affected 5.7 million jobs in the tourism industry alone. Considering that the tourism industry contributes to about 12.7% of the country's GDP, the Department of Tourism Undersecretary Alabado said it is essential for the tourism industry to be revived to help the Philippine economy recover from the negative impact of the pandemic. When asked when will the country open to foreign tourists, the Department of Tourism said that there is no definite date for this. Initially, before this pandemic, the Duterte government or the current administration goal was to achieve a 10 million target for foreign arrivals by 2022, which by now has become ambitiously high given that the health crisis is projected to linger longer than anticipated. A decision on this matter is still expected to be made next month. What is sure for now is that the focus has been diverted to supporting local tourism. Now that Filipinos are permitted to travel to some tourist destinations, as long as health protocols are followed. On the other hand, both the Department of Tourism and the Bureau of Immigration are in favor of vaccination passport, a document proving that one has been vaccinated against COVID-19. So we can really tell that even government organizations are really open to measures that could hasten the reopening of the country's tourism. Now, when it comes to quarantine status in the Philippines is also eyeing a less restrictive quarantine classification for Metro Manila and for the whole country, which is currently some areas in the country, the Philippines, are under GCQ, and then most are under MGCQ. This MGCQ is less restrictive. According to the Department of Tourism, we should really restart tourism because a lot of people lost their jobs. Mago 1 year na tayo. It's almost 1 year already. We know what to do. Metro Manila is placed under GCQ, but MGCQ is freer and tourism can be open to everybody. This is backed up by
DTI
saying it is about time we move to MGCQ after a year of lockdown. And speaking of Metro Manila, he said that as the Philippines recovers, Metro Manila has a very weak recovery, worse in employment and hunger recovery. And that means more urban poor. The damage to malnutrition and other health and social issues will be irreversible. Now, the shift to a less restrictive quarantine for the country is also supported by the National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA. Citing a study by NEDA, the number of poor people has increased by 4.5 million, while that of jobless individuals has risen by more than 2 million people. But these government organizations have emphasized that any decision they make on this matter will depend on the COVID statistics. But as we see, the cases are generally going down. Even with gradual and calibrated reopening of economy, government organizations stressed out that it should continue gradual, safe reopening of sectors and further relaxation. What does the Department of Health say on this? So they're saying that determining the quarantine classification of areas will depend on the preparedness of the local government unit. On the other hand, the League of Provinces of the Philippines is in favor of placing the whole country into a less restrictive quarantine classification. But they want LGU's local government units to be given the authority to impose lockdowns if there is a surge in COVID-19 cases. So will the Philippines reopen to foreign tourists this March? The answer is there is no formal announcement on that. Well, the conclusion is government organizations are keen on reopening. They're hoping to open up this year for foreign tourists. But again, it will depend on the COVID-19 statistics. It's up to the IATF and the president to decide whether to open or not this year. Basically, our conclusion is that the Department of Tourism is saying they're hoping to reopen, hopefully this year, to foreign tourists. That's all. And on the other hand, what's going inside the Philippines is that different government organizations are recommending now that the Philippines, the whole country, shift to a less restrictive quarantine classification. More movement, more businesses can open, and more jobs can be saved. That's really it, friends. As to when, even the Department of Tourism can't tell when is the definite time the country will open to foreign tourists. So right now, we're just waiting and waiting and waiting. If you are somebody who have very urgent, emergency reason to enter the Philippines and with the current rules you're still not allowed, you may try to apply for a 9A visa plus a DFA endorsement. Again, it's only for those with emergency, very, very important reasons to enter the Philippines. And they are subject to the assessment and approval of the DFA and the Foreign Post Philippine embassies overseas. So that is all for this video, friends. Thank you so much for watching.